One more person from the organization excited to be here today on WBSF Blues. We want to introduce the number one presentation with us first to introduce the world's platform internet station, the social site. So enjoy what we have for you today. I'm excited because I'm all about making it doing what we do.
Yes, W Radio, the number one internet station. We are one. We have a fall tonight on WBSW Radio, the number one internet station. Dr. Lee Smith. Is Tell the True Pride. Talk about attitudes. The other thing that really shows about attitudes, not if you're going to just talk about people in that attitude. Seems like everybody have an attitude. Now you can't say anything to them. You can't look at them, walk by them. It's and we want to clear best we can. Let's get ready to get started as soon as the introduction goes on. Yes. We are one. We are one. My. We're going to just stop right there. We're excited to come. We're going to focus on today's life challenges because there are many challenges going on. We see a lot of things occurring in our world, but basically when we see things that happen, it don't make sense. You can't understand it, you can't deal with it, and you want around it, but it don't make sense. And we want to think about and talk about the people that have these attitudes. Our title today's show is Managing Your Attitude. Can you manage your attitude? Or do you let the emotional part of you, which sometimes be patterns, get the best of you? And we want to talk about it. We want you to be a part of the show by joining us on the website. That is WBSW Radio, the internet station, 23.wic.com. You can chat with the host, which will be Lisa Levine and myself on StreamYard. You'll be a guest, and that's StreamYard.com/82XK3MZDW5. If you want to share your opinions along with your stories and examples live with me and the host, as well as the world, you can go to C2 at WBSW Radio, Facebook.com, Big O Live, TikTok Live, at Dr. L. Diabert Smith. And we have our second page, so we actually going to have three pages, but our internet keeps going out on one particular device, but we're going to continue to move forward. And we'll say that's Zeta Phi Sigma Greenville is that second page that we got up running with Riverside FM. That's at at WVSW Radio, Super Live. That's WVSW Radio, as well as being focused on the internet radio. Tango.com, WBSW-radio-14059. Twit at Dr. L. Diaberto 2017. Then we have two YouTube channels working tonight. That's the Smithwick Enterprises. You can join us or you can subscribe, as well as Dr. Lorenzo D. Smith, in essence, Dr. Lorenzo D. Alberto Smith. And we'll make sure we get that clear so you'll be able to jump on and be a part of it on those YouTube channels. WVSW Radio on-demand episodes are available for you to check them out by going through Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Instagram, Snitchers, Pandora, Spotify, and Amazon Podcasts. That is WVSW Radio, and they'll be audio only. You can go through PodServe FM. That's PODSERVE altogether FM. WVSW Radio, the number one internet station, has listeners and watchers in 60 countries now, on 6 continents. You can register for WVSW Radio giveaways by sending your name along with a means of transaction to Lorenza D. Smith 15 at gmail.com. And some of the prizes that we're raffling off: hotel stays, 3 night, 4 days, 5 night, 6 days, internationally as well as domestically. What we do, we pay for the hotel stay per night. You take care of everything else. You have to register so you can be a part of that. We have gift cards, food vouchers, book bags. We have novelty items, car movie passes, two movie passes that go along with that. Car ride is a certified detail, so you'll get a chance to be set up to go whatever one you want to go to. We'll make sure we pay to have a voucher for $75. We have Greek apparel, Greek novelty items, along with your professional team, your college team, your high school team, and your middle school team. We want to make sure we have that available when we're doing our raffle. So truly, we want you to register. Again, register by sending your name with the means of transaction to Lorenza D. Smith 15 at gmail.com. The question might be, why do we need to have these means of transaction? Let's give those means to Bitcoin, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, as well as Zelle. Again, you can send it to Lorenza D. Smith 15 at gmail.com. And the purpose of that, we'll be giving away love offering from $5 to $150. So you can get a 5 or you can get 150. We increased it because we're excited about being 8 years, 727 of this year. We did 8 years. We're thankful because there was a vision God placed with me in 2017. He said, go do this. You're going to be all right. And we went from one show to having 15 shows, one device, to using 20 devices. And it's a blessing. We thank each and every one of you for supporting us. So with WVSW Radio station by sending a like. Hit the like button. You just joined the like button. We need you to hit the like button. That'll let us know that you really enjoying what we're trying to do here, or at least you're on, and we know you're supported by being here. WVSW Radio asks you to show your support by monetizing through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Big O Live, Super Live, Tango, Twit, film, YouTube. Thank you for your support. And any way you want to get what you thank you. We have to first, you don't give any money. Just hit the like button. You got a like button that you have on whatever social media site you have, and I have something to let you know that we like what you're doing, and I would really appreciate it. We're looking to get at least 1,000 likes tonight. Thank you, or more. So we will appreciate anything you're willing to give to. As we move forward, I'm waiting on the host with the most, and I can see she's joining us, and we're going to put her on the board. So when we add her to the stage, you know she's here, and we really appreciate her joining us. Before we do anything else, let's take this opportunity to give a shout out to the host with the most. This young lady joined us about 5 years ago, and I was through a mutual family member who said, well, you need to call my cousin. He has a show down there in the South, and I would like for you to kind of get on and talk with him. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She has 3 other businesses besides that business, and she lives in the southern, sorry, she said 4, she let me know 4. So
I need to talk to you about that one.
Okay, and she lives
You might want to be.
okay, that'll work. and she's down in South Florida, and we're excited to have her here. But she's originally from Cleveland, Ohio. So as far as north you can get up 71 before you get into set foot in Canada, you have an opportunity to stop on in Cleveland, and that's where you find the dog pound. And they're excited about the Cleveland Browns, and now we're excited about everything that's going up in Cleveland Indians, and whoever it may be. So truly, uh, thank you, Cleveland Cavaliers. All of those are in Cleveland, so that's her home. And I want to give a shout out to her parents. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to work with Lisa at this time. And you know, your gift to us, and we really thank you for that gift. And it's truly from our heart. So truly, without further ado, again, the host with the most, Lisa Levine. All right, Lisa, how you doing?
I'm good, Dr. Lowe. How are you?
Oh, I'm good as well.
Long time no see.
That's what I'm talking about. About 3 weeks now, because we was off schedule last. Yes, we was off schedule. So we back on schedule tonight, and we got, I feel like, an awesome topic, and it's just focusing on attitude. And I know I'll run into, I'll give you some examples myself that I encounter with individuals that don't even realize they're showing their attitude because they think it's normal. We have been in a situation where people have normal things like their attitude, their emotional. They say aspects of life, they're giving it emotional, meaning they are not as stable and mature as you think they should be. Just because they walk around, look good, they smell good, but they may not be emotionally well. And what we want to do to talk about today is talk about managing your attitude. And a lot of people struggle with managing their attitude. So as we move forward in our topic for the day, the show for the day, we make sure we tell some things that allow us to present a picture to you and some examples, real life examples that we have experienced. I know I have to share something with you, and as well as Lisa, about people not able to manage their attitude. So, let's move forward, Lisa. Let's talk about attitude. Let's talk about just managing your attitude. What do you think about that?
My, what is it that I say? My personality is me, but my attitude depends on you.
Okay, pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not so good about it lately. Let people judge my skin. I know better than that. But I don't know what's going on. And I quote Jimmy Fallon when I say that, and he said, "Really don't know what's going on." And it's true. But just because you don't know what's going on, or just because you're angry, doesn't mean you have the right to put off an attitude to other people. And I have to be careful because I'm an absorber. I absorb other people's. I can feel other people's energy. And is it anger? It's this entitlement thing that I don't like at all. I don't quite get it. Nobody's better than anybody. But it seems to be getting worse, Dr. Lowe. And for a while, we kept saying like COVID had to do it might still, but I'm beginning to think people just have attitudes they're really angry and not doing the right thing or intentionally trying to trigger somebody, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like triggering, saying things, doing things, not making their ways, doing something that might could affect you or I. Um, I moved in August, and neither bathrooms work. There's leaks. I think there's black mold in here too. I don't even know at this point. But the bottom line that could have been solved, right? But the lady, when I brought it to their attention, I got a complete attitude about it. Like, hey, I'm looking out for your best interest. Like, you think, like, what is going on with people? You're trying to help, or I even offered to pay for everything. It was a solution, but all I got was a total negative attitude. You ran through this. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it's bad. Like, you can't use the shower. Like, let's just fix it. Now it's October. This has been going on since like June, August. I moved, but I feel like we're at a point where people really don't want to problem solve. Like, a lot of the people I work with, they do want help. They do want to problem solve, but when you're bringing something to someone's attention, and when I brought it, I was very nice about it, and then I got like, and I get defensive when you come at me. I was just like, wait a minute, there's no need to yell at me and tell me to shut up. And it was kind of, you have to think about that, right?
Yes.
How, and then sometimes we get like, we feel a certain way, and then we direct it on to like other people without meeting to our trusted people. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense.
Like, because someone gave us an attitude that someone you see that we trust. Look at sports right now. There's a bunch of attitudes running around with that. A lot of the things I hear is the way people are treating people.
Exactly.
And, and some of us do. Like, you can only, what did someone say to me? They said, at least you can only breathe so much. You can only walk away so much. There's only so many techniques you can do before you just, right?
It's amazing.
I hear that quite a bit.
Amazing to have a series.
My little drama, it's not even my drama. It's created drama and attitudes that don't need to be there.
And at least you said something from the beginning that was really important. You said something about personality. That's something we can pretty much have, can be the positive and negative. Sometimes that it leads to people having but I want to go back to what you talked years ago about your aptitude determines your attitude. You have to know and understand that your attitude can lead to some unwanted situations. Many of us, and a lot of us, prefer those because when we step out of the house, or step from our sanctuary, we have chaos in our mind. We have so many things going on, it is easier for us to blame others. It's easier for us to blame going on nationally. It's easier, but the truth of the matter, you control your ability to react. See, I think we need to focus more on, if you know you're having some challenging situations in your sanctuary, I won't know until you bring it out in the street, or bring it out outside of the door and put it into the public aspects. Then when you bring it, because people may not feel us the same way you feel, it creates what we call our attitude. And we get to the point it becomes emotional. And when it becomes emotional, if we're not mature or stable, we're not going to be able to function in a manner. And the worst side comes out of us. I also, Lisa was saying something about where people put you and push you till you snap. See that a movie on, I can't remember the one on in Booster 251. I can't think on the DirecTV cable. When I first saw this series, probably about 10 years now, and I thought, I said, wow, this is what we end up doing, because what happened to us is that you can be the most honest person, but there's always someone that's going to push you and press you and try to control you to use that. And that's one of the things that creates our attitude. These are not normally these individual personalities. But when you press them and you tighten sometimes the screw up on them by you what you may say, what you may do, these people take it, and then we snap. So one of the things we need to focus on is managing our attitudes. We need to be able to understand that just because things don't go away, just because people don't agree with us, it's no reason us trying to impose a rule from us on them. And here comes our attitude. Here comes our disposition. And we're at the point that we get so angry that we violent. I look around, give you an opportunity to do this. I was working with a young student, a student, and listening, trying to all of a sudden the pressure got on. It just seemed to want to snap, and I had to pull it back. Hold up, now you got to get yourself in the right. You got to remember, because if you cannot handle this simply, the change of statement, change of sentence, how are you going to be out here to teach our young people? And that's the route you can take. You be in positions that you got to deal with. And one people have to learn how to do something called customer service. And I need to talk a little bit about customer service because she's talking about in her place a resident, and things are in there that shouldn't be in there. And then she's trying to get them addressed, and she's doing it the kind way without having to snap, create an attitude. And she's trying her best, even offering a out for them, meaning offering a way, I will pay for it. If I can, then those individuals gets an attitude because you offer them, because it really tells them they're not effective in what they're doing. Because if they could handle the situation, they would. You wouldn't need to go to that point to say, I need it done so bad that I'm willing to pay for it. I'll give you some other examples. If you ever watch these social media where these individuals go in these stores, and I'll use Wally World. A lot of people know what that is, Wally World. I won't have to call it name.
Yeah.
And they go in and take something that don't belong, and when they're stopped, they go into rage. They go into an attitude about something you had done wrong. That means that we're using what I call sign language. See, when things you do wrong, people catch you doing wrong, then you have a tendency to want to shame them. You want to insult them. You want them to feel guilty for doing their job. Because you know the truth of the matter, you need to be right. See, your attitude is, I'm going to be right regardless. I can be wrong, but I'm still going to be right. You have to learn to manage that. You have to learn how to work with that so you can be a successful person. See, our ultimate goal is to be the best version of ourselves. And we can't be the best version of ourselves when we allow ourselves to be put in situations of doing things we know and we still do it. And when someone catches you doing it, then you go into that. So I'm gonna show out. I'll learn whatever you show out. You're gonna get worked out. System, and truly, that's what we're dealing with when we say, can you manage your attitude? Do you need to get professional help that may help you manage your attitude? Because your attitude goes with you every day. You can't leave it at the house. Because when you leave it at the house, you're going to stay there with it. But when you go out to the workplace, you must manage your attitude. See, we must have a positive thought process instead of negative process. When we leave our home, we ought to know that we carry all phases of us with us. Particular attitude is how you present that attitude, determine how people see you. Because your attitude can cause individuals to draw a conclusion about you. I'll use one more thing. A young man was telling me about a situation because he was an individual working in this bank. He was in the car dealership. And the young man that was in there was cleaning up, doing custodial work, right? That was after work, 5 or 6 o'clock. And everybody that worked in that dealership was really nasty to that young man. They was going to boss him around, you ain't picking this up. So he said he wanted to be nice to him. He spoke to the guy and said everything was all right. But what he found out, see, that man could have shown attitude, but he didn't show attitude. He could have been one of the same ones doing the same thing to him. Something within inside him. So when he went to interview at a bank. All right? And one of the persons sitting on the interview committee was the same man that was cleaning up in that car. If he had to show that attitude, he might well went there, turned around and came out the door. But since he was so cordial to the man and treated the man with respect, just because the job he was doing was not the same job that they had as, those individuals, car dealers and salesmen. But sometimes people look down on you. They look down on you on the job that you have because they think you're lesser than them. And I think that's one of the biggest things happening now. Now, countries, people that have reached what we call in their mind the have. And everybody that's not up there where they are, nowhere close to them, is the have-nots. We have that in here, so they have an attitude that you're less than me.
We certainly do.
You're less than me. I always used to tell my employees as a principal, I say everybody deserves respect, no matter what job they're doing. Whether it's a custodian, whether it's the bus driver, whether it's the lunchroom staff, particularly the children, their parents, your co-workers. Everybody deserves respect. Just because you have these credentials does not give you the right to look down on people who may not have it. You don't create an attitude to be nasty to them because you see they are less. You see them as being less than you when truly they're not. They're really not less. You're the one that is less because you up here and have all this and you are not, your attitude, it ain't good. So your attitude determines your aptitude. So we have to keep that in.
I want to jump on, what you just said about people like, I don't want to say this politically correct. People think they're above other people, right?
Right.
And I see this with work every day. I work with people that are, you might think that they're in a certain position, but they're treated like they're nothing. And then they think they're nothing because they're treated like nothing, and that's not necessarily true. But it's that attitude that's put out there towards, that population. That I've said I would mention this for somebody tonight, but it's like, you're playing a sport. You should be treated in a respectful manner, but instead you get these negative attitudes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
My niece don't let other people ever care.
All right.
Girl.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's funny as I'm saying that she texted that she's watching. But yeah, like they're tearing people down, making them feel really bad about themselves. And I always say it's that one little word, Dr. Lowe, one last little word, and you don't know what could set somebody off. And
Yes.
everybody's a human being, and we've become this or we think we're entitled.
There you
Some
go.
of these people that are think they're entitled. Do you know what it's like to work 2 or 3 jobs? Do you know what it's like to not have anything? Like, I mean, I was taught a work ethic at a young age, so, I think I've mentioned it before. My dad said, you want a Walkman? Go pay for it. You babies pay for it. You want a TV in your room? Go work and I'll pay, you pay half, I'll pay the other half. Those are lessons. And that's what we should be teaching rather than hand me, hand you, hand you, hand you, hand you. And these elitist attitudes that you're better than somebody. And I see it with my guys all the time, this shaming and putting down and just what she just said. That is a strong statement. And all don't let people tear you down.
Exactly.
And I think we all teach her that, in my family, we teach that we have to work on, I have to work on it better too lately because it's been a, rough time going from one yucky landlord to now another, but same kind of stuff with black mold again. Um, and people don't know it's a struggle sometimes, because black mold does strange things to you.
Yeah.
So I try, I'm trying, but I can see for myself it's a struggle. I can see for my clients it's a struggle. Just people in general. But yeah, people walk into stores, they go to games now, football's back. Everybody's a critic. They've never even played. And some of the stuff I've been trying to stay off social media. I can't stand what I'm seeing. But you're being mean and it's putting people down and having negative attitudes about things when you don't know people like actors or athletes. We don't really know them, right?
Right.
But then you have this attitude towards them because you see something. It could be AI generated. That's another thing I think that can cause like negative attitudes. So you got these elitist attitudes, then you got the social media, hiding behind a screen, putting people down, being negative, making people feel bad. But that's how I think we've become like that. And, it's really not a good thing.
Exactly.
And your attitude can just, and I know, like I said, I'm guilty of it. I absorb things, I'm very empathetic or, I absorb, when somebody's acting, just like what I was saying when the lady told me, I'll say be quiet. It's like, come on. And all I was doing, Dr. Lowe, was asking for a receipt for the washer so that I can help get a new washer or get it fixed or replaced or whatever. That was it. But yeah, you're right. I think people also don't want help sometimes.
Yes.
So they're sending something out there, that's negative, rather than saying, hey, let's try to work together.
Yeah. Can't do that. And that's
On, Dr. Lowe, is it gone? Faith.
I have hope and faith, and I believe that this shall pass too, but I don't know with the way, as you said, we're in an entitlement stage of life where everybody think they're entitled to a job. They just think they're entitled, well, they meet the requirement, not, they're entitled. So if they can't get the job they want to get, they get an attitude, don't work at all. And then we're expecting someone to
The
take
money
care of it.
they want, the amount of money, monetary things.
I kind of worry about that too in a sense. And I say, I'm gonna say think about it, not worry so much about it. That, like you say, the amount of money, I really think that amount of something is better than amount of nothing. If you don't have the job, you don't take the job, you have nothing coming in. Nobody should just give you my money. You're not entitled to my money, especially if I work hard and I put the time and energy in. You're not entitled. I don't care if it's through taxes or whatever it may be. I'm just being honest about that. I think that people that need it should get those opportunities, but just because you don't get the job you want, because you may not even meet the credentials, whatever is required of the skill, you don't get the job, you get mad and go sit down and like you punishing people because you didn't get the job. Is it possible that you can go work a little bit harder, get some training, do something different? Uh, See has kind of dissipated within our society now. I see a lot of people, if they can't get what they want, they're just not going to do nothing. If they is, they're going to find a way where they can just fleece the system instead of really working. And then when they get or they get caught, then they have an attitude. It's like, I deserve that. I don't know why you're fussing about that. I see a many of these creators on, I call them content creators because they give content. And they talk about because they're losing this or losing that, then you're supposed to give it because it's supposed to be free. I have nothing is free. It always comes with attachment.
Yep.
It comes with attachment, so being entitled. But as we talk about attitude, not getting what you want create that bad attitude. And I'm gonna tell you, bad attitude is a state of mind. Bad attitude is a state of mind, just like it's a state of mind. A positive attitude is a state of mind. But if you got a bad attitude, you're not going to be able to function until you're able to manage it. And manage it meaning is get to the root cause of what causes you to respond and act that way. What causes you to react in a manner that can become a danger to society? You need to get to the root. I can't get to the root. You got to get to the root. Every challenges I have in my life, you have in your life, and everybody that's watching this stream, you need to be able to want to address it so you can be the best version of yourself. I don't see how people comfortable putting the worst version of themselves out in society. And then if you say something, they get an attitude with you. You presented that. Yeah, you may have felt comfortable walking out the door, but there's people will say something and you get an attitude. Get an attitude enough to go and pick up a weapon and
That is, oh God forbid.
many individuals. This is happening too many times. These individuals get upset because things didn't go their way. And we have to talk about this.
I'm going to jump in really quick. This is not all like mental illness when they do that, because they're aware of what they're doing. You're right, didn't get their way angry and taking it out on innocent people. And then they blame my field and your field. You know, it's like, we don't know what someone's going to do. Like, I have absolutely no idea, but you're right. What you hit it right there.
Mm-hmm.
They're angry about something or have an attitude, and you walk into a Walmart or a school, God forbid. I mean, 17 people died down here. You know, that's to happen.
Oh.
You know, these things don't have to happen. But yeah, you're right. And they're pretty much in control of what they're doing, I think.
Well, you're in the field that pretty much can tell us, and you hit something on the head when you said those individuals want to blame everything they do on mental illness.
And mental illness,
Mental
or
health.
the teacher didn't, or, even when
Everybody
people
else.
like you and I make complaints or make a report, it gets like brushed under the rug. I'm in tune, I listen, I'm observant, but yeah, they want to blame it all on mental illness, and it's not. Or
Exactly.
on the teacher. It's usually, what is it, teachers and therapists, mental
Therapists.
health,
Yeah, yeah.
we get blamed.
Yeah. But we don't want to really put it where it's supposed to be. I always think, you remember we, from our show, Talking Real to You Prime Time, you said, it started block by block. It started at the place where you are growing up, developing foundations, dealing with your well-being, like emotion. If you're around a person that is very emotional as a child, you see that model and you pick up those tendencies to come out, and all it takes is one thing to trigger you. But it starts at a place where you feel that you're comfortable, a so-called safe, and not saying every home is a safe place, but it starts at home. And we have to realize that
Absolutely.
those individuals have some challenges, but until, and we talk about this all the time, Lisa, we're going to tie this into mental health and how to address mental health. People seem to feel in our community, even our home, they have this stigma that's been going on for years and years that you should go seek help from a profession because something is wrong with you. The truth of the matter, something is wrong. And the only way you can correct is put the work in. We walk with a lot of, we carry a lot of things in our life that we need to address, and we don't want to address it because we don't want anybody to say something is wrong. Something, it doesn't take a disaster, some tragedy to happen to say, okay, it's mental health. So all the other times you just recognize that, and they've been in that home with you, or been in that facility with you, or been there with you. But you recognize that when the individual go out and do something that's tragic.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we start with adjusting attitudes. Don't keep giga thing sense attitude as a child. The old saying is if you do things and get away with it as a child, you will take it into adulthood. And the magnified glass that might have been wide as a child get closer and people look at you a little different when you become an adult. So we need to address our challenges and when we see it in our children, when we can recognize it in ourselves, instead of burying our heads in the sand and saying it's going to be all right. It's not going to be all right. Because those individuals that have not received the right treatment or the right counseling or right talking to the right therapist or psychotherapist or licensed clinical social worker, I'm going to tell you, it's going to get bigger. And that part of them in regards to their well-being makes them unhealthy people. They are unhealthy people. And we have to be for real with people. You are unhealthy. Yeah, we can look at you and say, oh, we know you're unhealthy, but we wouldn't know your mind, your mental state, We don't know your emotional state. We don't know your spiritual state. We don't know your social state. We don't know your psychological state. And we definitely don't know a lot of time our financial state. We think money can solve everything. I just I think that I'm gonna say this, Lisa. You solve things, but willing to put the time and energy in. The two things we all control. We all control how much time we're gonna spend on things. Now we don't control how much time we're gonna have on this earth. In the book, and our Lord and Savior will make sure of that. But you do time and energy. How much time I'm gonna put in it? If I know I'm having some struggles, I know I'm doing some things while I'm at home, I need to take time to get checked out. I need to put the energy in, to put the work in and keep going back to get to the point where I'll be healed. One of the biggest challenges in relationship, because we are poor vetters. I tell people, if you cannot vet a person, then you're going to have some challenges because, you're going to pick the wrong person. Being able to vet that person and this supercomputer that we have, we on a bunch of computer tonight, we can be seen all over the place, all over the world. But the supercomputer, Google search will help you. It's so now you can go to certain apps associated with AI and ChatGPT. You can find out anything you want about someone before you make a decision to be that can save life. We have tools we must use that can help heal life. This is what we have. Managing attitude. Are you capable of managing your attitude? Lisa.
Am I? Yeah, I joking around. I think we are, but I know from myself personally, if you, like I say, and maybe it's me, because I'm always trying to figure out solutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always am trying to figure out a solution to something, and I notice I get this more with women. I say it all the time. That's why I work with men. Because I don't get that kind of, I don't get that kind of feedback or treatment. But I noticed dealing with some women, not all women, but some,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they want to argue and argue, just like I said, my language, like trying to argue or keep poking the bear, keep poking the bear. What are you going to get?
You're going to get something in your
And
life.
I think we can control it to a point, and then it just gets to be too much.
Exactly.
And like I think I have like 4 friends right now that have cancer. God forbid,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're like fighting, and they have like they have the best attitudes. You know what I mean? And we need to learn from. I always say we need to learn from that. We need to learn from people like that. And then you look at other people that are like, you know what I mean? They're like very interesting. I should probably research that more.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like people I work with, like they want to have a good attitude, but then somebody comes down on them. Whether it's like coaches, administrations, whether it's bands, whether it's and your attitude, and people never believe me when I say it. When you keep saying stuff and people see it and hear it, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, I can't believe some people have a nerve to even, what is it, DM?
Yeah.
Or a messenger send these like crazy, like threatening, and I'm like, oh my God.
Well,
You're putting your attitude, and I think, you know what I'm gonna bring up?
mhm.
With sports, I think it has a lot to do with betting.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think these people are so angry that they're watching. I was working and typing, and I don't know what I had. Maybe I had the Ohio State on. I don't know. But they have betting commercials now, and I said, so that's what it is.
oh yeah.
You know, people are getting these terrible attitudes. They're getting angry at players because they put money on, but that was your choice.
Choice. That's it.
That's what gambling means. You're taking a gamble, a chance, and then you're getting upset. You don't show up for work 3 days in a row, let's say. Another example. What do you think your boss is going to do?
Mhm.
You show up
Sorry.
late, call off. They're going to have, you know, there's different types of attitudes that people get. And then people don't care that they don't show up. Well, then they're short-staffed, and then it creates a whole huge, and then the customers get an attitude. You know, it's cycles that could be broken, but I do think you can control it. Um, I just think people choose not. I think they choose to trigger people. There's my word, trigger.
That's it. It's a word. That's a very important word.
That's a big word with me. It's a big word I use all day because that's what I hear. They triggered me. I was triggered. And I truly believe people that work with me, they really don't. Like they're getting triggered by negative attitudes
Mhm.
and mistreatment. And then you say, how much is enough?
Exactly.
And there's no reason for it. There's just absolutely, you know, if you're trying to do that, like look within your, and I think people don't even see it sometimes, Dr. Lowe, you know what I mean? I think they just, that's how they've always acted, and they stay stuck in chaos. And that's how they keep things going.
And to
I mean,
add to that, Lisa, it's so important that we as individuals have to recognize those individuals, uh, their acts. Some people intentionally out here trying to trigger you. They are intentionally trying to trigger you. They want to get a
yeah,
response from you. See, and that way they got a what? Oh, moment. I got him. There's people out there, I think, daily do that. Just knowing, they say, I'm going to see if we're going to check, going to see how they're going to respond. And now, one thing,
yeah,
another part to that I want you to keep in mind is that they're trying to trigger you to see what level you'll go to. Because if you don't go far enough, they're going to go full force. And they don't care if they run completely over you. Because that is a mindset that they have. We're going to stop on the sun, they don't respond in a manner, and we're going to drive and become the bully. That's another thing. If you was a bully as a child and you was never corrected, you're going to be a bully as an adult.
you,
And people
that's
don't
a
believe
huge
that.
thing. Bullying.
You know, and that's what we're talking about. When people have negative attitude, they they want to bully you, they will disrespect you, they don't care about you. No matter what your is, you could be just as, you can, the three things going to happen, people action when they deal with various critical situations. How you respond, what's your response to challenging situation? You're going to do three things. If you get pressing hard, you're going to do what? You're going to fight, you're going to flight, or the one that everybody takes for granted, you're going to freeze. They're checking to see if you're going to fight or you're going to run. That's flight. Fight, flight, or freeze. If they see you freezing, run completely over you. Because they have that in mind. Don't care, but they test, they trigger you to see how you're going to respond. And then when you They push you and you go, you become a fighter, you go fight. Oh, I ain't know you was that way. Why you act like that? Okay, but you didn't think about your action. And that's one of the things. Manage your attitude. You got to manage your attitude. Whatever it takes, you need to manage your attitude. I recommend if you can't do it, if the people are close, you can't do it, seek the professional because it's available. Because we are accountable for our behavior. We are accountable for how we act. We're accountable for our attitude. If you have a negative attitude, you're accountable for that. You have to deal with it because every action requires a reaction. It can be a positive reaction or a negative reaction. It's how you present yourself. We have to make sure we understand what we're presenting in the eyes of the public. Because once we leave our homes and get out into the public, what are you going to present? A positive attitude or a negative attitude? You have to think about that. Think about which one.
Maybe we should write a character.
Yeah, exactly. And think about that.
People should journal. I'm going to journal on this when I get out.
Yeah.
I have a little paperwork to. I gotta actually call a client when we're done, but I'm going to journal on this because you made me stop and think about a few things. So I appreciate you.
Welcome.
Even the therapist needs a little guidance sometimes, you know?
You know what I was saying? Every counselor needs a counselor.
We do,
Every therapist needs a
we
therapist.
do.
Teacher needs somebody.
Well, I think for me, I have to do. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm expecting people to just say, yeah, okay, that sounds good. And now that we're talking this out, I'm kind of like, you know what? I've been so upset. And work is great. I don't have an issue with work, relationship, you know, but it doesn't go down into my relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just this stuff that's been thrown at me for 4 years. It's going on over 4 years now. It just like hasn't stopped. And I was thinking about it how I was walking the beach, so like 12 miles. And I said, geez, all these things were coming to me that, you know, I'm dealing with very negative entities. And rather than them, you know, them reacting to the non-replies that I'm getting or the, you know, nasty replies. And, you know, I have to just stop and leave it to God, give it to God at this point.
Yes, it's awesome.
And that's what I said to myself this morning, guys. And I noticed more people are getting back with religion or attending religious events or praying more and, you know, I'll meditate and pray. And today I just said, you know what, I got to just, after I found out about the mold in here, I said, you know, I'm just going to leave it in God's hands at this point.
So that's the best
And
thing we
it's going
can
to
do.
get faster, I'm going to have to move again. So it is what it is. Like, it's the end of the world. That's what I said. So, resolution or, you know, I didn't get upset. I just said, this is just is what it is. I'm probably not going to fix it. And, you know, I have to just find a different place to stay.
Exactly. And those are the kind of things you have to make decisions. When we're talking about managing our attitude, whether we're going to have a positive attitude of what we're dealing with, because pressure sometimes in your personal life, in your work life, in your community life, can causes you to have an attitude. And you got to be able to manage your attitude. That's why you must focus on positive things. See, a lot of times we get away from thinking about the positive thing. Like Lisa just shared, she said, I walked about 12 miles and I just thought about everything. She thought about some positive, some negative things. But see, one of the things I'm all about making sure I use this pro-con chart. and I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. Because I got the pros and I got the cons. And I write down all the pros that's happening, positive things that are happening. I write down now whatever the other one. We need to make sure we address both. See, one of the problems people have when they do a chart like that, they're just going to focus on the bad things. But you need to focus on the positive thing because in focusing on shift away from the things that are negative. It allows you to move to the positive things. Just like the good aspects of a situation, there's some positive in a lot of situations. The splash. Always look instead of think about the little things are just important. Middle things, the splash. We have to focus on having a pie. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate this. The little things that's in my life, people that bring me my mind, know all together. It's going to be a splash. We have to always and we have to take time to make sure we control our self-talk. I don't believe that we talk. You should. It's amazing. I ran into one of my former co-workers at one of the how we call it, the anchor stores at these malls and these big stores, franchise stores, however you want to call it. And they was talking about since they retired and all the things that was going on. They was talking about a lot of things have been in their life of late. A lot of tragedy as well as some transition of family members. And they said they have to just walk and they talk to themselves. They said they come to this outlet, this place, which I'm gonna say outlet, I won't call where it is, and they just walk and they self-talk. When you need to manage your attitude, you have to focus on positive things. Control self-talk. Self, that's controlling self-talk. Then you have to do what, Lisa? Assume responsibility for where you are. Assume responsibility. Sometimes we add to our challenges, sometimes we take away from our challenges. All of our challenges that leads to the attitude, we're part of it because it's us. And we have to assume responsibility. Practice emotional regulation. Practice emotional.
Don't be arrogant.
There you go, regulation.
No arrogance allowed.
There you go. See, we talk about how important emotion is. We talk about emotion as well-being. If you want to have a successful relationship with someone else, a group of people, you have to be emotionally well off. Your emotional IQ must be mature and must be stable. That will practice things, allow your emotions to be. First of all, you got to acknowledge your feelings. See, it's sad it's sad that people in the field, kind of working down, a lot of work in that area with young people. The worst thing you can do as a adult is carry your attitude from home to your workplace. In essence, if you school, why would you bring that attitude to school? You mad because what happened at home? You was in an argument. But you bring it to school, and you come into your workplace, and then you want to lash out at the children that had nothing to do with it. What you need to do, you think you got a problem with your your feelings that makes you angry because they day. Because those individuals that you're going to possibly teach or be in leadership role don't deserve your attitude. Let your attitude stay at home. So you must be able to emotionally regulate your attitude, your feelings, which is your emotional aspect, and your attitude, your anger, or your impulsive reaction. How about that one? That's a good one. Your impulsive reaction, your emotional well-being, your emotional regulator. You must regulate it.
True.
And these are some things that we need to do to manage it. And one thing I think so important, Lisa, you know what that is? Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. See, people don't want to even practice. That means acknowledging your feelings without letting them cause you to not be excited, causing you to have positive thinking. You know what? Gratitude boosts life. I want you to think about it. The gratitude you have for yourself and others, it's going to boost your life. It allows you to be optimistic, allows you to encounter wellness. That's how we manage our attitude. You may have some other things you want to think about, but truly think about managing attitude. If you're not having a good morning at home, go out and because you might not have a job at the end of the day. Regulate your emotions. Be responsible.
Practice self-awareness, self-awareness.
And that's a real big one. A lot of us
That's a
is
big
not
one.
understanding self-awareness. See, you, just like I said, know you had a situation at home that caused you to be angry and mad, and you're going out the door, going to work, telling you, might not be a good day. Might be a good day for everybody else, but it ain't a good day for you.
Or we say that it's not, a good day, or something happened, or yeah, maybe take breaks. Before you get out of bed, maybe or something. I always call this well, when I get up, I think to read, you know,
Yeah. Sit down.
informations are always good. You can put them on sticky notes and put them.
Bad.